My mom, 45F, put her stepkid's safety before mine, 18F. And now that I'm 18, she's trying to push a reconciliation I don't want. I'm 18F, conflicted about the whole thing and whether I'm being extremely harsh, so I wanted some advice. So my parents divorced when I was 5 and my dad died a couple of months later. My mom was already dating her husband at the time, and she moved things along quickly so we could have a real family. Her husband was divorced at the time and he had 4 kids, 2 older than me and 2 younger. They lived mostly with their mom at the time he and my mom married, but after about a year, they were splitting time evenly between his house and their mom's house. Their mom was a pretty terrible person from stuff I saw, was told and heard about. My mom's husband spent years fighting for custody of them. My mom supported him through that and always wanted them to come live with them. I never wanted them to come back. Every time her stepkids were at the house, they took all their anger out on me. I was ganged up on and the younger kids would bite me or step on me while the older 2 held me down. I was pushed around, kicked, punched, knocked over and all kinds of stuff. My mom knew and she would tell me to stay by her all the time and she'd ask me not to hold it against them because they were going through a lot. But that happened over and over again because I couldn't stay by my mom's side 24 hours a day. She wasn't there at school or when I went to bed. I shared a room with one of the older kids and I dealt with a lot there. But also over time, my mom would encourage me to do my own thing and not stay by her side 24/7, and it opened me up to more abuse from her stepkids. I was 12 when their mom stopped sending them back to their dad, and when my mom's husband fought super hard to get them back. They were going through more abuse in the 2 years it took for him to get custody, which he eventually did. When it was clear he was about to get custody, I begged my mom to keep me safe and to not make me live with them. She told me that they deserved to be safe and not abused. I asked what about me and she told me it would get better. I told her I didn't feel safe and I didn't want to live with them. I told her I hated them and wanted them to stay where they were. I was 14. She told me to please think of her stepkids' safety because it was so at risk with their mom. I told her she didn't care about me and it made her mad. In the end, when her stepkids came back to their house, I ran away and I made a big fuss about going to live with my grandparents instead of going back to my mom. I was interviewed a bunch and had a temporary foster placement. They decided to return me to my mom, but I got out of the car outside mom's house and I started walking away. I was asked to go inside, but I refused, and I said I would keep running away over living there. So I was taken back to be interviewed more and my mom was asked to come into the office alone, and my grandparents were called also. Mom wanted me to go back to her, but for safety reasons it was decided against her wishes that I should be placed with my grandparents. The woman from CPS went back to the house with my grandparents for my stuff, and it was all destroyed by the kids already. They tore up/cut up photos, my clothes and my stuffed animal collection. I guess it kind of opened up the eyes of the woman from CPS, because I was supposed to do counseling with my mom, but after she came back with no stuff for me, she never mentioned it again. And for 4 years and counting, I have lived with my grandparents and had very minimal contact with my mom. I was court ordered to have 1 call a week, and that reduced a year ago to answer the phone once a month for a few minutes. Now that I'm 18, my mom is reaching out more and insisting we reconcile, and she told me we need to stop destroying our relationship. She told me I never should have lived apart from my only parent. I saw different therapists when I lived with my grandparents, and some were very pro-reconciliation to the point where it felt extreme. Others have said it is entirely my choice, but the whole thing messed with me enough to make me second guess if I'm too harsh. During one of our calls, my mom expressed how sad this whole situation made her, and she said I had a sad outlook because I told her my safety as her real child should have come before her marriage and her husband's children. She still cared only about the abuse her stepkids faced, or that's how it feels to me. I'm looking for advice on whether people think I should try with my mom or not, after everything I have said here.